Call the meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone to the regularly scheduled October 26, 2021 Fort Clinton City Council meeting in the Linda Hartlove Council Chambers. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. The Lord's Prayer, and moment of silence for those serving and protecting our country.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you. You may be seated. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Jake Elo.
Here.
Pat Hovis.
Here.
Beth Gilman. Here. Roseanne Hickman.
Excused.
Lisa Slobodian.
Here.
Margaret Phillips.
Here.
Jerry Trolley.
Present.
Thank you. Council, you previously received the October 12th, 2021 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Trolley. Second by Ms. Phillips. I have a motion by Mr. Trolley, second by Ms. Phillips, to approve the October 12th, 2020 meeting minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. The chair notes that certification has been made regarding compliance with the rules and regulations of this meeting. We have no guest presentation, no public comment. On to executive officers' reports. This evening, there is a new ordinance. It's number 27-21. Making the other bulletin reads, it will be assigned to Finance Committee. Also, the zoning update meeting, public meeting will be Tuesday, November 9th, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. prior to the regular council meeting at City Hall in the Fort Clinton Chambers. Everyone has a good Halloween this weekend, and happy birthday, Mr. Belo. That is all. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, everyone. I just want to congratulate the Redskin football team on beating that team from out west this past Saturday or Friday night. I also would like to thank Mayor Babcock from Oak Harbor for being a good sport and living up to the wager that we had yesterday. I met Mayor Babcock. He had a truckload of pizza and cookies and soda pop for the football players and cheerleaders. So thank him very much, and I hope to see him here in Fort Clinton next year about this same time. The Lakeshore Drive, if you remember back Memorial Day weekend, there were that big storm and so forth. ODOT was in town today. They made the necessary repairs, temporary repairs to the damaged areas as they got into it. The undercutting was a little bit more than they had anticipated, but that project is done, and Lakeshore Drive is open throughout. I believe the cones are gone. Work on the pier is progressing nicely. It has been delayed a couple of days because of the wood that we talked about from the 1880s that they discovered. Yesterday was a weather delay, but they believe they'll catch up as it progresses. Over at the wetlands, I'll be very honest, and I think Mr. Colston will agree because I know we've talked about it. When ODOT said, you guys, you got to put those wires across the marsh from fence to fence to keep the geese out. In my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, right, that'll keep the geese out. But it has. The far west end of the marsh, our guys haven't been able to get to putting the ropes over. And as my dad was walking around town last Friday, he called me and said, there's 200 geese in the marsh. So we went down and took a look, and sure enough, they weren't anywhere near the wires. They're all in that far west end. So Luke Johnson and the fellows are going to get that taken care of. I would have bet anybody $1 million that wouldn't have kept the geese out, but it's doing what it's supposed to do. As our illustrious president noted, this weekend is Trick or Treat. Again, on Saturday from 1 to 4, downtown trick or treating. And then adult trick or treating, same thing Saturday for the pub crawl, will start at 4 p.m. And then the citywide trick-or-treating will be Sunday from 6 until 8. And members of our first responders, police, fire, EMS will be around town passing out candy as well. On November 13th, it's a Saturday, is the Port Clinton Firefighters Association annual feather party. The doors open at 6. The first spin is at 6:30. It's a great fundraiser to help equip the men and women of our fire and rescue department. Free admission, very much a family-friendly event. There are pre-sale raffle tickets available, and about 20 minutes ago I realized I left mine on my desk, but see any member of the fire department, I believe Mr. Trolley will have some, and myself, and we'll be happy to sell you those raffle tickets in advance. Two more quick things. Mrs. Ostheimer, just want to wish you the best of luck on your upcoming festivities and hope to see you back here very, very soon. And of course, happy birthday, Mr. Velo. I learned you just turned 25. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That concludes my report this evening.
Thank you. Any questions for the mayor from council?
Yeah, I have one on the pier, and Tracy, this is probably better directed to you. And one of on the pilings they're driving down is a square, an open square. What's that?
That'll be room. I think it was just to tie everything together from what I was told.
But
So.
it's the only.
It's only one there, so.
Yeah.
I
Okay, it's
assume
not
that
the inlet.
there was one there was one at the other end for a while too, and then they pulled that out.
Okay,
so.
all right. Just curious. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Auditor's report, Mr. Hatfield.
Thank you, Madam President. The only thing I would like to announce, and you all should know, is that the 2020 state audit has been completed by the State Auditor's Office. And you should have received a copy of the audit and management letter. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to me. I will say that for the most part, it was very similar audit findings that we've had year after year, primarily due to the fact that we are reporting on a cash basis as opposed to the accrual basis that's required. But as we've discussed in the past, we save a fair bit amount of money by reporting that way. That's all I have. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. And I'll ask the clerk to add those to correspondence.
I did not receive them. They weren't provided to me.
I'll make sure you get that.
Thank you.
And then if you could, yeah, just add them to correspondence. Great. Any questions for the auditor? Okay. Treasurer's report.
Madam President, I think it's just a draft letter at this point, right? So it hasn't been finalized.
Yeah,
So
so
it'd probably
the-
best to wait until it's.
Yeah,
I
so
think today we got
yeah, today you should have received an
Today we
updated
got-
copy.
a regular copy, the finalized one.
I thought we just got it updated with the new number 5.
Yeah, today was sent out. I know before it was a draft copy. Today should have been the finalized copy. I didn't receive it.
So, treasurer's report.
Madam President, the money keeps coming higher and higher. Bed tax to date, $248,678.38. Dock tax to date, $28,637.96. Thank you.
Law director.
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Thank you. Mr. Colson, supervisor.
I think the mayor covered it all. Happy birthday, Gabe, and thank you, Madam President.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Colson from council? Okay. Move on to committee reports. Finance, Mr. Bealow.
Nothing, Madam President.
Thank you. Economic and community development.
Nothing, Madam President.
Thank you. Arts and culture, Mrs. Gilman.
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Thank you. Safety services, Ms. Phillips.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Move on to correspondence. Under correspondence and council previously received monthly reports for September 2021 from Mr. Hatfield. Do I have a motion to approve the correspondence?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Trolley. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Gilman. I have a motion by Mr. Trolley, seconded by Mrs. Gilman to approve the month-end reports on September 2021. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Thank you. Motion carries. We will now move on to readings of ordinances and resolutions. Under third readings, we have ordinance 26-21. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, ordinance 26-21.
Ordinance number 26-21, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Safety and Service to enter into an LPA federal local lead project agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation, a memorandum of understanding, an agreement addressing the responsibilities of the parties, and a grant co-administration agreement between the City of Fort Clinton and Clinton Bay Boat Line Company, an Ohio corporation operating under the trade name of Jet Express, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 26-21?
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Bealow.
move to retain the emergency clause in ordinance 2621.
I'll second. Thank you. Mr. Bealow, thank you, Ms. Phillips. Any discussion? Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bealow, seconded by Ms. Phillips to retain the emergency clause as to ordinance 26-21. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Lisa Sabodian.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Gabe Velo.
Yes.
Mark Phillips.
Yes.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 6-0. The emergency clause is hereby maintained. Does council wish to take any further action as to ordinance 26-21?
Madam President,
Mr. Bealow.
move to approve ordinance 2621.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Drolley. Any discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Bealow, seconded by Mr. Trolley to pass ordinance 26-21. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Gabe Velo.
Yes.
Lisa Sabodian.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 6-0. Ordinance 26-21 is adopted. We have no second readings. Move on to first readings. We have ordinance 27-21. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only? Ordinance 27-21.
Ordinance 27-21, an ordinance creating a fund for the payment of expenses for the cremation of indigent unclaimed bodies located in the state of Ohio who legally resided in the city of Fort Clinton at the time of their death and whose income did not exceed 150% of the federal poverty line, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 27-21 this evening?
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Bealow?
not for the ordinance, but just to ask for a spelling correction for declaring. Thank you. Beat you.
He was like that in school. Thank you.
Somebody's gonna get detention.
The clerk will make that correction. Yep, thank you. With nothing else, we'll move ordinance 27-21 to a second reading at the November 9th, 2021 meeting. Business comes from the floor. Ms. Hovis.
I just want to wish Gabe a happy 25th birthday. And
Thank you. Mr. Trolley.
Just a question for the mayor and Mr. Colston. You guys completed the handicap ramps on Harrison and Jackson, which, thank you, a couple of people were happy to see that done. Are there any, do we have any more corners in town?
Yeah, there's some that weren't done on 4th Street, but remember that's part of the infrastructure
Right,
project.
right, no,
So
right.
we took those out, so,
Okay, other than,
oh, I'm sure there's some here or there, but
I've been looking, I can't even.
there's very few, there's very few.
Exactly.
We did the last Safe Route to School, and that covered a bunch of them on 6th.
Right.
And then by the high school, obviously, those were all done in Baton School, which is 6th. So there might be one over on Fremont Road, but
I can't think of.
other than that, not many.
I think you guys got them pretty good.
And then, so 4th Street, those, we didn't want to put them there, obviously, and tear them back out for the
Right,
project.
right,
So,
exactly. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And just to add on to that, I've done some research, the gas company in their work, they've taken some out to put in the gas, they'll be putting them back.
Right, that's what I figured. Yeah, yeah.
That project was started by former city councilman Van Hoos several years ago.
That's been a while.
He did a
Yeah.
wonderful job
Yeah.
getting that going.
Thank you, that is all.
Thank you. Ms. Lodi? Ms. Phillips?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Phillips?
Happy birthday, Mr. Velo. Nothing else, no birthday.
Mr. Vito?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I usually cringe when people go around the room and do that for other people, but I'll take it today. I saw this afternoon the governor announced several million bucks for some water and wastewater projects across the state, including in Norwalk, which is about $5 million, and Genoa, just over $1 million. I think both of those are, I think Genoa was related to water line improvements, and I think Norwalk was $5 million to mitigate some CSO events. It was called the Ohio Build Water and Wastewater Grant Program. Is that something that we pursued? Bokemeyer or anybody else?
Was that part of the,
That's when we talked with Marcy.
no.
Sure.
Excuse us 1 second, I want to verify something.
Sure.
Was that part of the, where the county authorized stuff and sent it down to Columbus and we're 2 in line? Mr. Bill, I'll have to check on that and
I
get
think
back
they
with
just
you.
announced the first tranche,
Yeah.
and then the governor's Twitter feed said more coming soon. That
There's-
eventually, all 88 counties will have something. If
Yeah,
if
there
every
might
county
be
just
that-
gets one,
that might be-
well, Genoa took ours, I guess,
Yeah.
if we had sought it, but just wanted to ask.
That would have been, yes, that would have been.
Say the name of the fund again, just for my knowledge.
It was an acronym, BUILD, B-U-I-L-D, is what I saw on the Twitter machine, and a graphic with a map of the state.
There was, what we were talking about, there was one out there where the county engineer collected information and we submitted, we ranked 2 in the county for a project that was happening on the west end, got number 1, and then those were sent down to Columbus for final approval. So we'll check
Okay.
to see.
Thank you. Any update on the Capitol bill potential pursuit with Oak Harbor?
We're actually having a conference call Friday morning with Oak Harbor folks. It's progressing well from both the Art Garage and the Oak Harbor entity on their end. And our meeting is with their government officials to finalize the memorandum of understanding. That'll be part of the package going to Columbus.
So the more I hear from our people, my coworkers, is at least on arts and culture, which arts and cultural projects under the Capitol bill, which I imagine the Arts Garage would fall under, that strongly recommend, not only is there, I think, a 2-to-1 required ratio, so that our portion would have to be 50% of that, but also always to exceed whatever minimum there may be. So I would just continue to encourage you all to talk with our elected officials in the state and hopefully get like an early or preliminary thumbs up or thumbs down from the finance committee, which are the ones making the decision, especially on eligibility and competitiveness. So I would encourage that as the next step.
Thank you.
And then on the streets, I just encourage all voters in Port Clinton to approve issue 2.
1 and 2. One's the street, 2's the fire.
Okay, so issue 1. So my hope is that because there's no signs like the fire levy, that people still vote yes for everything on there when it comes to city levies. But I'm sure that we'll get the street portion right. And I'd like to talk to the mayor and safety service director about the map that you provided at the last council meeting with the different color designations and what is like new and wouldn't be improved and what stands to be improved in the road portion. So just encourage everyone to vote yes on both levy items. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Seeing no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam President, I move this August body adjournment.
Second?
Second. Pat?
Thank you. Mrs. Gilman, a motion by Ms. Phillips, seconded by Mrs. Gilman to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign? Motion carried, we're adjourned.